Hey gang, Batjac J.W. here. I'm here with Icarryone, back in action with you. We got a couple of 1911s here for your enjoyment. This is a little bit different because you guys know I love my 45 auto, but we don't have that on the table today. We have something a little bit different.
Yeah, what we got here is a Homegrown 1911, and let's clarify what Homegrown really is.
Right.
It's not a homemade gun.
It's not a ghost gun.
And it's not a ghost gun.
No.
This one actually has serial numbers on the frame, went through an FFL for just the lower receiver.
Yep.
Just like you would for an AR or any other typical gun.
Right.
And it's oddly...
Well, it's kind of a put together piece here. The frame came from Sarco.com. Sarco is actually a pretty good place that we can get 1911 parts and everything. We're not sponsored by them by any means, but we'd like to give credit where credit's due, and they do have some good parts and things available.
Right, they do.
Yep.
I've bought a lot of parts from Sarco over the years for a number of different guns. Primarily, I think they're the one go-to spot for 1911 parts when you're a customizer / builder or just need replacement parts.
Absolutely.
They're one of the best well-stocked places I've found anywhere.
What this is I got a para-ordnance frame here off of them that's aluminum. Actually,
alloy, yeah.
Alloy, yeah. So just for the lightweightness of it, that's the idea of this project here that went with. So it's kind of like I said, a Franken gun. So we got some different parts here, some Colt Commander parts that were sourced for it, a Springfield Armory shorter trigger, which is my preference. Again, just to kind of reiterate, these are my firearms and they're kind of from my preference. I go with the shorter trigger just for the size of my hand and everything. This one was kind of important because of the lightweight was the idea. Went with a polymer mainspring housing. A lot of people throw stones at the polymer mainspring housings. I kind of stick with it because this was the idea of the build, was to cut weight. And if you're like me, you like tinker around with 1911s, you got boxes of parts and a lot of older stuff that we just kind of throw
actually
together.
You did very well doing that because you've got an alloy slide, of course, with a chromoly barrel.
Yeah, the alloys.
You've got a alloy frame, and to stay with that, you go with the polymer mainspring housing and trim off a few ounces here and there.
A little bit here and there to trim it off. We got a Kimber Conversion unit here. The buddy of mine, he had one laying around, so he put it towards the project here to build it together. So the main thing was the alloy slide on that one was, of course, the barrel, we got the steel there, but it really is a nice lightweight package in 22. And it's not that we're trying to say 22 recoils a lot, but being this whole project here, lightweight frame and everything, it does have a little bit of give to it when you're shooting high velocity, for sure.
It gives you a little more of the feeling for a 22 caliber versus 9mm or say 45 ACP, but you've got the handling characteristic that you need if you're going to be a 1911 fan or you prefer 1911 platform, is that the handling characteristics and manual of arms, so to speak, is exactly the same, except you're firing a less expensive ammunition. And now that it's coming back on the market, it's definitely cheaper than firing up a couple of hundred rounds of 45 ACP to get the same practice with it.
You got trigger time and everything like that. You're able to shoot handfuls of 22 LR versus 145 auto round.
Right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a good 22 caliber 1911 style platform pistol into your armory or collection. They're just great to have. They're excellent plinkers. Excellent plinkers.
Absolutely. Like I said, again, these are both mine, and I went with the gray frame. Did both the frames here on gray, and that one there is a Springfield Armory Ronin, the new Ronin package out. It's got a couple of things that I did to it to change some things around. Now this is the Commander size and 9mm, and of course the alloy lightweight frame on this one. I went also with a shorter trigger on this one, and I switched out the thumb safety to a standard teardrop Colt safety on that, and with the polymer flat mainspring housing on that.
I did notice that almost all the 1911 year collection all have short reach triggers, which is the traditional triggers in them.
Right. From the pretty much, I'm a big fan of the A1 triggers, and configuration of 1911 World War II 1911 auto pistols. They're kind of my favorite there. But I left these things stock enough to where, you know, I'm not altering stuff that's going to affect the function of the pistol itself, but just mostly just things to customize it to my liking. Also kind of sets my stuff apart a little bit just cosmetically from other people's stuff.
Well, the one thing I'd like to give you credit for, Batjac, is that you took the time to put your 1911 together correctly, and you did it right. You didn't skimp on the parts, and it shows in the end thing. It's an extremely accurate pistol, and the reliability is just phenomenal.
Yeah, actually, thanks to you, we got some World War II vintage parts on this one, like the thumb safety and the trigger and stuff like that on this one. I think the magazine release, the magazine release was sourced from
also from
some of your hodgepodge of things and parts you have.
My parts cache of original GI issue parts for 1911s.
Absolutely, good stuff. You know, of course, I did the frame on that one also in gray. I just like the way the color schemes on that work. You know, with the gray and then the black slide.
Right, it's a distinctively nice looking handgun, and it's actually still fairly lightweight compared to a full-size 1911. And I don't know, I mean, some years ago I was one of those guys that scoffed at anybody that think they might even want a 9mm 1911. But over the years I'm on the other side of the fence.
I was once that way too, because you know, a lot of you guys are purists, you know, dyed in the wool on having those certain 1911s. You know, it took me a long time for me to come around to a 9mm. And especially that package, 9mm Commander, lightweight alloy frame. It's definitely a match made in heaven, I must say.
20 years ago, you wouldn't have found a 9mm 1911 in my collection. But today, I have several, and I enjoy them, and they're spectacular guns.
Yeah, you have a really nice Dan Wesson Valor that's in 9mm.
I carry that gun quite often.
Yeah, it's a smooth gun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Dan Wesson as far as being probably one of the upper echelon production guns on the market. It is considered a semi-custom, not a full-blown custom, but a semi-custom. Right. It has all the nuances you would pay the high dollars for, but you're not getting into that area.
$4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, you're not getting anywhere near that, but you're getting that dose of quality you get, you know, and you're not getting into that black hole of value versus what do you get for your dollar.
Yeah. And like the Springfield Ronin at an MSRP of $849, you really are kind of for under the $1,000 mark getting a pretty decent pistol right there. Absolutely. But as much as I like my Colt 45 auto, I've been definitely rolling with these two choices right here for my range use, and also for my occupation, what I got to do, I've been carrying that one.
Yeah. And the next time we get out the range, I fully expect to put some mileage on these for you.
Will do. Thanks for tuning in and being back with us, brother.
Enjoyed it.
All right.
We'll do this again.